There's a quiet moment most men overlook, a moment so small it barely registers, yet it tells you far more than words ever could. And near the end of this conversation, I'll help you understand why that moment matters more than any technique you've been taught. If this kind of psychological clarity speaks to you, gently tap like and subscribe so we can keep having these grounded, honest conversations together. Now, let's slow this down. When men hear phrases like, "she's already yours," it can sound dramatic or even misleading. So I want to be very clear from the beginning. Nothing about human connection is about ownership. What we're really talking about is emotional permission, a silent signal that says, "I feel safe with you." And one of the earliest, most reliable places this permission shows up is her hands. Not in a dramatic way, not in a movie scene way, but in the quiet, almost unnoticeable way she allows her hands to rest in yours without pulling away, or how she lets you hold them a second longer than necessary, or how she doesn't tense when your fingers gently brush hers. From a psychological perspective, the hands are deeply symbolic. They are how we protect ourselves, how we create distance, and how we test trust. For many women, allowing a man to touch her hands comfortably isn't casual, it's selective. Here's what most men were never taught. Before emotional closeness becomes visible, it becomes felt. A woman may laugh with many men, she may talk openly, she may even flirt playfully, but when she allows relaxed, unguarded hand contact, her nervous system is telling you something important. I don't need armor right now. That doesn't mean attraction is guaranteed. It doesn't mean intimacy is owed. It means the door to emotional closeness is open. And here's the part that separates emotionally intelligent men from anxious ones. Men who misunderstand this moment often rush. They interpret permission as a green light to escalate, to prove something, to take control. That's when the connection collapses. Men who understand it do the opposite. They slow down, they stay present. They don't squeeze tighter, pull closer, or test boundaries. They simply remain steady, calm, grounded. And that steadiness is what deepens attraction. Because psychologically, a woman isn't evaluating how confident you appear. She's sensing how regulated you are, your breathing, your tension, your patience. When your touch communicates, "I'm here and I'm not trying to take anything from you," something powerful happens inside her. Her body associates you with safety, and safety is the foundation of desire. Not excitement alone, not charm alone, but emotional safety. This is why so many men feel confused. They focus on words, signals, and outcomes. But women often communicate trust through allowance, not declarations. So if a woman lets you hold her hands comfortably, without stiffness, without pulling back, without distraction, it's not a conquest. It's an invitation. And how you respond to that invitation quietly determines everything that follows. There's another place where emotional permission reveals itself, and it's even more subtle than the hands. Most men miss it because it doesn't look like attraction on the surface. It looks like comfort. And comfort, in modern dating culture, is often misunderstood. I'm talking about her upper back and shoulders. Psychologically, this area holds tension, responsibility, and self-protection. When a woman keeps emotional distance, her shoulders stay slightly raised, her upper back guarded, her posture alert. It's not conscious, it's neurological. Her body is staying prepared. So when she allows your presence close to her upper back, standing near you without leaning away, sitting beside you without angling her body out, allowing a light, respectful touch on her shoulder without flinching, something important is happening beneath the surface. Her nervous system is no longer scanning you as a potential threat. That's not a small thing. Many men assume attraction is loud, obvious, sexualized. But in real psychological bonding, attraction becomes quiet before it becomes deep. It moves from excitement to regulation, from alertness to ease, and ease is rare. Here's what's critical to understand. A woman may feel curiosity toward many men, but she only feels regulated around very few. Regulation means her body doesn't have to work hard to stay safe. Her muscles soften, her breathing slows, Her mind stops multitasking. If she allows you close to her upper back or shoulders without immediately adjusting her posture, without stepping away, without creating space, she's communicating something powerful without words. I don't need distance from you. Now listen carefully, because this is where men often sabotage the moment. When a man interprets this comfort as permission to push forward, to test how far it goes, he breaks the spell. Her body notices the shift immediately. The safety dissolves and the walls quietly return. But when a man notices this comfort and does nothing to exploit it, when he stays composed, grounded, emotionally present, he becomes different from the rest. Because most men are trying to get somewhere. Very few are capable of simply being somewhere. Women are acutely sensitive to this difference, not because they're analyzing it logically, but because their bodies feel it instinctively. Your calm presence tells her, I'm not here to take, I'm here to connect. And that's when attraction deepens from surface-level interest into emotional attachment. This doesn't mean you disappear into passivity. It means you lead with restraint. You allow her nervous system to associate you with stability rather than urgency. Think of it this way. Desire grows where there is space to breathe. When she lets you close to her upper back or shoulders, she's offering you that space. She's saying, without speaking, I trust the way you hold yourself around me. That kind of trust doesn't happen quickly, and it doesn't happen by accident. It happens when a man is emotionally anchored in himself, when he doesn't need validation, reassurance, or proof in every interaction. And when a woman senses that anchoring, her body relaxes further. That's not ownership, that's connection beginning to take root. Now let's move even deeper into something most men never think to observe, because it doesn't feel like touch in the traditional sense. And yet, psychologically, it is one of the strongest indicators of emotional openness a woman can offer. It's her face and personal space, specifically when she allows you to be close to her face without pulling back, without filling the space with nervous movement, without breaking eye contact too quickly. The face is where identity lives. It's where we are most visible. And for many women, allowing a man sustained closeness to her face, especially calm, unhurried eye contact, is far more intimate than physical contact elsewhere. Here's why. When a woman doesn't trust a man, her eyes become busy. They scan the room, they dart away, her head turns slightly. Her body creates micro-distances without her realizing it. This isn't rejection, it's protection. But when she stays still in your presence, when her eyes soften rather than sharpen, when she doesn't rush to look away or fill the silence with noise, her nervous system is signaling something profound. She feels emotionally safe being seen by you, and being seen is far more vulnerable than being touched. Many men try to earn attraction by talking more, joking more, impressing more. But psychological attraction often deepens in the opposite direction, through quiet, shared presence. If she allows moments where you're close enough to notice her breathing, her expressions, the subtle changes in her face, and she doesn't retreat, that's not accidental. That's emotional permission. Now here's the critical distinction mature men understand. This closeness isn't an invitation to invade. It's an invitation to remain steady. When a man becomes nervous in these moments, when he breaks eye contact first, fidgets, or suddenly shifts energy, the connection weakens. Not because he did something wrong, but because he communicated uncertainty. On the other hand, when a man can hold calm eye contact without intensity, without expectation, without hunger, something powerful happens inside her. She begins to associate you with emotional grounding. And grounding is magnetic. This is why women often say they felt drawn to a man without knowing why. It's rarely about looks alone. It's about how their bodies feel in his presence. Calm, unrushed, unpressured. If she allows you into her personal space comfortably, standing close, sitting near, sharing silence, that's her saying, I trust your emotional containment. And that trust grows attraction far more reliably than any clever line or confident posture. But again, this is where patience matters. Men who try to convert this closeness into certainty lose it. Men who can tolerate ambiguity, who don't need to label or secure the moment, become unforgettable. Because emotional depth doesn't come from pushing forward. It comes from staying present when most people can't. So if she lets you close enough to see her clearly, to meet her eyes without armor, to share space without tension, understand this quietly, you're no longer being evaluated, you're being felt, and that changes everything. There's another area where emotional trust reveals itself, and it's one that men almost never recognize because it looks ordinary, even boring. But psychologically, it's one of the clearest signs that a woman has stopped guarding herself around you. It's when she allows you access to her vulnerability through conversation, especially about things that don't make her look impressive. Not her achievements, not her humor, not her stories designed to entertain, but her uncertainties, her doubts, the parts of her life where she hasn't fully figured things out. From a psychological standpoint, vulnerability is a form of emotional touch, and it requires more trust than physical contact ever could. When a woman begins to speak openly about moments where she felt unsure, overwhelmed, or emotionally conflicted, and she doesn't soften it with jokes or dismiss it quickly, she's letting you into a protected internal space. Most men misunderstand this moment completely. They think it's a cue to fix, to advise, to reassure, to solve. But that instinct, however well-meaning, often breaks the bond, because what she's offering you isn't a problem to solve, it's an experience to witness. When a woman shares vulnerability and senses that a man can stay present without rushing to correct her feelings, something important happens. Her emotional system registers him as safe. Not reactive, not controlling, not dismissive, safe. This is why so many women feel close to men who say very little but listen very well. It's not silence that creates the bond, it's emotional restraint. If she feels that she can speak openly without being judged, redirected, or emotionally overtaken, her trust deepens. And here's the part most men never hear. When a woman trusts you with her vulnerability, her body often follows where her emotions have already gone. Emotional closeness tends to come first. Physical comfort comes later, naturally, without force. That's why emotionally intelligent men don't rush moments of closeness. They let emotional safety do the work for them. Now, pay attention to how you respond in these moments. If you remain grounded, if your voice stays calm, your posture relaxed, your reactions measured, you communicate something powerful without saying it. You don't need to perform for me. That message is deeply disarming, because many women have spent years feeling like they must be impressive, composed, or emotionally tidy to be accepted. When a man allows them to be human, uncertain, thoughtful, unfinished, it creates an emotional bond that goes far beyond attraction. This is not about becoming her therapist. It's about being emotionally available without trying to take control. If she chooses to share the parts of her life that feel unresolved with you, understand this. She's letting you touch something far more intimate than skin. She's letting you touch her inner world. And men who can handle that with humility and steadiness are rare. That rarity is what makes them deeply attractive. Not because they chase closeness, but because closeness feels safe with them. There's a final physical boundary many men don't realize carries deep psychological meaning, because it isn't about where you touch her. It's about how she allows her body to orient toward yours. Orientation is subtle, it's quiet, and it's almost impossible to fake. When a woman feels uncertain, her body angles away even if her words say otherwise. Her feet point outward, her torso turns slightly aside. Her weight shifts in a way that creates escape routes. This isn't rejection, it's self-regulation. But when emotional safety grows, something changes. Her body begins to face you directly. She doesn't lean away. She doesn't maintain barriers like crossed arms or objects between you. She sits or stands with her center aligned with yours, not because she's trying to signal interest, but because her body no longer needs to protect itself. This is one of the strongest unconscious indicators of trust. From a psychological perspective, facing someone fully means, I'm present with you. It means her attention isn't split between you and the environment. She's not managing risk. She's engaged. Many men mistake verbal enthusiasm for attraction, but words are easy. Orientation isn't. A woman may say she's comfortable while her body says she's not, or she may say very little while her body quietly aligns with yours. When that alignment happens naturally, without you repositioning her, without you moving closer to force it, it's a sign that emotional permission is already present. And here's where self-awareness matters. If you notice her body facing yours and you suddenly become tense, self-conscious, or overly alert, she will feel it. Emotional connection is reciprocal. Her nervous system responds to yours. This is why grounded men create attraction without effort. Their bodies communicate calm, which invites calm in return. If you stay relaxed, if your breathing stays slow, your movements unhurried, you reinforce the safety she's already feeling. You don't rush to capitalize on the moment. You allow it to deepen on its own. Because desire that grows organically lasts longer than desire that's forced. Now, there's something important most men have never been told. Attraction isn't built by doing more, it's built by needing less. When a woman senses that you're not desperate for confirmation, not scanning her reactions for proof, not trying to secure the outcome, she feels free to move closer emotionally. Freedom creates openness, and openness leads to attachment. So if she naturally orients her body toward you, if she stays engaged without fidgeting, without distraction, without defensive posture, understand that this isn't coincidence. Her body is choosing you, not because you pressured it, not because you performed for it, but because being near you feels safe. And safety is the soil where real connection grows. Everything else is just noise. By now, you may notice a pattern emerging, one that challenges nearly everything men are taught about attraction. Because the deepest signal a woman gives isn't a specific body part at all. It's something quieter, more powerful, and far more revealing. It's when she allows time to slow down with you. When a woman feels uncertain, time becomes efficient. Conversations have limits. Moments have endings. She checks the clock, the phone, the next obligation. Even if she's polite, her nervous system is already moving ahead. But when emotional trust forms, time softens. She lingers. She doesn't rush transitions. She stays in moments that don't have a clear purpose. Silence becomes comfortable instead of awkward. There's no urgency to move things forward or wrap things up. Psychologically, this is one of the clearest signs of emotional attachment beginning to form, because time is precious, and we only give it freely where we feel safe, grounded, and emotionally nourished. Here's what most men don't realize. A woman doesn't stay because she's entertained. She stays because her nervous system feels regulated in your presence. If she allows conversations to stretch, if she doesn't feel the need to constantly stimulate the interaction, if she's content simply being with you, her body is telling her something her mind may not have fully articulated yet. You feel like home. Now, this is where everything comes together. Hands, proximity, eye contact, vulnerability, orientation, time. None of these mean ownership. None of these guarantee outcomes. But together, they reveal something rare, emotional permission. And emotional permission is the foundation of real attraction. Men who understand this stop chasing signs. They stop analyzing every move. They stop trying to control the narrative. Instead, they focus on one thing: who they are being in the moment. Calm instead of rushed. Present instead of performative. Grounded instead of outcome-focused. That internal shift changes how women experience you, because the truth is, attraction doesn't come from making a woman feel excited. It comes from making her feel safe enough to relax. When she relaxes, she opens. When she opens, connection deepens. And when connection deepens, desire follows naturally. So if a woman lets you share unhurried moments, comfortable silence, and emotional ease, understand this quietly. You're not trying to win her anymore. You're being chosen, emotionally first. And the men who are chosen this way don't need tactics. They simply need the courage to stay steady, patient, and emotionally present. Because what truly makes a man unforgettable isn't what he takes. It's the calm he leaves behind.